Day 44 of doing 300 push-ups every day, accompanied with 50 squats every day. Let's go.
Social media career? Or should I find another profession? So with a referral from a friend, I partook in an ayahuasca ceremony in Joshua Tree, California, May 1st and 2nd, 2020. I have no commentary on the experience. Although futile, perhaps I'll attempt to articulate its profundity at another time. I'll only expound on the aftermath. I was overwhelmed with inadvertent perspective shifts, both worldly and metaphysically. I was bombarded with an overflow of insights into my life direction. I was flooded with pursuits I wished to accomplish, and I was instilled with an unfathomable motivation to achieve them all. Doctors would later describe this mentality as delusions of grandeur from drug-induced psychosis. See, I wanted to become the greatest actor that ever lived. I wanted to open people's minds to more valuable perspectives. But more than anything, I wanted to save the community that privileged me with a platform to make a difference. Stimulation-induced apathy reversal, a powerful technique in my social anxiety course that defeats the addictions that are replacing your social life. Probably the number one has been reduced social anxiety. And that is the one other benefit that I've really noticed. More on that soon. But the physical trials paled in comparison to the mental fortitude required for success. The psychological strength to witness 13 years of hard-earned muscle, the muscle I identified with, the muscle that gave me a career, the muscle I had earned in the aspiration of self-confidence. Gone. A bodybuilder's worst nightmare. And it was beautiful, because for once, I was finally big enough. No longer was I attached to what others thought of my physique. Any remaining fragments of body dysmorphia were abolished. This was the beginning of a dramatic mental transformation. A transformation ridding myself of the addiction to the approval of others. A transformation conquering the fear of others' judgment. I was about to disregard many social norms. Was this a symptom of psychopathic tendencies, or the beneficial destruction of my social anxiety? Well, that's for you to know, and for me to find out. Social anxiety. But this realization was empowering, because I now saw cringe as an indicator of my own insecurity. So instead of erroneously believing that cringe was unavoidable, I now had control. What if all cringe comes from a lack of confidence, from social anxiety? I used to cringe at things until I stopped being a whiny little bitch. This is the essence of anti-victim mentality. Taking responsibility for your own thoughts and feelings gives you power and freedom. See, you can't control the behavior of others, but you can control your own reactivity. No one has the power to dictate your emotions, such as cringe, unless you give them the power. After this epiphany, I decided to train my mind by reflecting on my own social phobias while watching more cringy Cassidy Campbell videos, which desensitized my mind to awkward social situations and expanded my comfort zone. I called this technique Virtual Exposure Mindfulness, VEM, which is extensively covered in my social anxiety course that just launched this week. Link is in the description below. You can see the dramatized demonstration in the video I recently posted on my main channel. But it's not as easy as you think to find content you perceive as cringy, especially as you get more confident. Fortunately for you, I created the ultimate cringe library for you to practice my VEM technique after you get my course. It consists of the videos depicting the peak of my craziest behavior that are no longer public on my YouTube channels. This intense array of cringe is powerful enough to trigger the root social phobias of others' judgment, my own social anxiety. But Prima-Sada Yoga isn't an easy challenge without an initial reduction in social anxiety. That's where my ACE method comes in. It's called anti-conditioned expressiveness. See, I used to try and act all cool around women, trying to be that cool, calm, collected, Brad Pitt motherfucker. Then I realized that wasn't true confidence. It was reaping of insecurity. I was putting up a false front to get the approval of others. I was acting. And girls with their high social intuition sniffed right through that. Ironically, over-filtering yourself does the opposite of its intent. It's fucking creepy. Just like wearing a mask, girls are creeped out when they feel like you're hiding something. So how did I fix cool guy syndrome? How did I learn not to fear the judgment of others? How did I break my addiction to their approval? How did I remove my filter? How did I really overcome my social anxiety?
He seems to have dropped all insecurities. He made a video admitting he uses a penis extender, for God's sake. Doesn't it seem kind of nice being exactly who you really are at all times without having fear of how people think of you or how they talk about you? Seems kind of nice to me.
Anti-conditioned expressiveness. This is my favorite and most powerful technique in my social anxiety course that just launched. You can see the expert level demonstration of this technique in the video I just posted on my other channel. The idea is to intentionally, in a controlled environment, film yourself acting outside of societal norms. For beginners, you can start out just by acting eccentric content. I evolve, and you can too. I set out on a quest to defeat the demons of insecurity that torment the bodybuilding psyche. But first, I needed to set a precedent, so I temporarily deleted my old superficial videos to promote the search for internal confidence. You will never find happiness chasing these external material desires. I even took down my legendary bodybuilding.
Yes.
I undertook the first ever hair transplant without local anesthetic to display the power of the mind and to represent the pain that inevitably follows the attachment to superficial pursuits. Then 4 months later, as the results began to show, I shaved them away to exhibit the true confidence that's independent of one's hairline. Then I returned to Omegle to continue my acclaimed series, but this time I played a new character that satirized the damaging hidden mentalities that the old character promoted.
Hey guys, I'm extremely materialistic, and I believe that the better than
2-month cycles of
MK677.
You took a SAR. It's not a SAR.
All right, growth hormone secretagogue. Correction.
And back in 2017,
For 2 weeks, I took Osterine. That's a SAR.
it's not another.
Yeah, correct.
And although these aren't the anabolic androgenic steroids I was accused of taking, they weren't trivial. And maybe I should have let my fans know. But after meticulous contemplation, I realized they weren't the only unnatural substances I had consumed. I had taken natural testosterone boosters like ashwagandha. Was this really natural? I began to see how this false dichotomy of natural versus unnatural ignored relativity. Caffeine used to be a banned substance but is now considered natural. It occurred to me that naturalness is a fabricated human concept, more accurately depicted as a spectrum.
Connor Murphy points out there is no natural or not natural. Technically, it's all on a spectrum, and he's kinda right.
So I propose a more nuanced way of thinking, the natty or not spectrum. And I put myself around a 3 or a 4. And I hope others will adopt this mentality to utilize performance-enhancing substances with a more balanced approach, instead of a black or white, all-or-nothing mentality that has the potential for drug abuse. But words are only so powerful, and inciting real change usually requires a compelling story. So as a personal social anxiety challenge, and as an endeavor to emancipate the bodybuilding world from their most repressed insecurity, I set out on a journey involving a substance that exemplifies the false dichotomy of natural versus not. A pre-technology natural substance that contains over a dozen steroidal hormones. This substance's paradoxical nature has some people calling it divine.
Oh, that's my divine protein shit.
You owe me, bro.
May 29th, 2017. I released this video. I blindfolded girls, and they determined whether or not I was dateable based on only touching my body. On the surface was not a reality.
300 push-ups done. I look like I just took a shower. 50 more squats to go.
Thousands of comments poured in. The pervasive curiosity of my sexuality was quite eye-opening. And the more immersed in the bodybuilding community I became, the more it made sense.
The historical start of bodybuilding was a lot funded and promoted by gay men.
See, there's no other community that spends more time meticulously analyzing the physiques of half-naked dudes, obsessed with the substances they may or may not be injecting into their ass. The more research I did, the more confident I was with my hypothesis.
You know, basically be like, I don't know what you would call it, like an escort or something.
I don't know why people don't really talk about it, the bodybuilders talk about it, because we all dealt with it at the time. Like, hey, you want to do that? You get your people were doing it for the pro card.
Bodybuilding isn't just a cult; it's a gay sex cult. Yet almost everyone is in the closet, and it was convincing. Was this just an act, or had the bodybuilding lifestyle developed my inner homo curiosity? That's for you to know and for me to find out. I attempted to glamorize ingesting the divine protein shake, citing all the potential health benefits. So essentially they gave spermidine orally to older patients with dementia, and it improved their mental functioning. And I was met with extreme opposition. But I demonstrated that you don't need the approval of others. You don't have to fear their judgment. You can free yourself from social anxiety. Judgment of others stems from your own insecurities. So I met my friend here. He could test it in Huntington, New York. A dwelling
50 squats done, 300 push-ups done. See you tomorrow.